business. So our next guest is Matthew Odie with Gateway Properties. And so Matthew Odie is with Gateway Properties. He works with business owners wishing to sell their businesses, the commercial side of real estate associated with that business sale, as well as helping folks find the best franchise for themselves. So, and also you're a volunteer with SCORE.
Yes, I am, absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
I help mentor, people are looking to improve their business, whether that's starting or whether they're already involved or whether they need to make a change. And yeah, it's a very rewarding and exciting thing to do, and I really enjoy
Awesome.
it. Yes.
Yes. Okay, so Matthew, thanks for being here. And you do several things. Two of those are helping folks buy and sell businesses, as well as commercial real estate related to that. What are some important things that business owners should know when they're selling their business?
Yeah, well, thanks, Pete, for inviting me on your show. I really appreciate it. And yes, it's a very important thing when somebody, a business owner, decides that they want to sell. And what they really need to do is to make sure that that they want to do it.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, oh, I'd love to sell my business, see how much money I can get for it and all that. And when it comes down to it, they actually don't want to do it.
Yeah.
If it's a family business, they need to make sure that within the family, everybody's on the same side, and that when they do get to sell it, there aren't any dissenting voices. That also applies to a partnership agreement. I've had circumstances where I've been approached by one partner and said, oh, I'd love to sell this, and then you find out actually that they don't have the partner, and the partner says,
Right.
well, what do you think you're doing, and why
Yeah.
are you doing this? And it causes a big mess. So that is very important. Everybody has to be on the same page, and everybody has to be moving in the same direction.
Right.
Because once you get into talking to buyers, you really don't want that sort of dissent coming out, because the buyer will get nervous, or they'll see an opportunity to maybe shortchange you on it in some way. And then the other thing is to also start looking at the financials, to make sure that they're fully aware of what the financials say, what they've got, whether they've got all the paperwork together, and bring it up to date and keep it up to date, because the actual selling process can take quite some time, and you may have numbers that are after 6 months are out of date, and somebody comes and says, well, this is no good, this is from 6 months ago. How am I able to tell whether the business is working now?
Those are great points.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so how long before selling a business should the owner begin preparing?
Well, it's always, there are certain things like medical situations, death in a family, or other things that sort of jumpstart a selling of a business. But if the business owner is saying, I want to, let's take an average example, the business owner wants to retire. They know they're going to retire at a certain time. They probably need to start thinking about it 6 to 9 months before they're actually going to make the sale, because it will take also time for the sale to happen, because it's easy to find a lot of interested buyers, but it's not easy to find the person who's actually going to pay you what you want, what you want for it. So we always like to say 6 to 9 months in preparation for it. But as I say, that's where somebody has had time to think about it, where in that respect.
And it's not something where it's a
medical emergency sort of crashed their business and they've got to get out, or the storm ripped the roof off the whole building, and all the stock was washed out in a tornado. I mean, that happens here. But,
absolutely.
And that can affect. I've seen that where businesses have just disappeared, because what's the point?
I don't know if you lived here in 2010 when there was the massive flood.
Yes.
A lot of businesses didn't make it.
I know. Yeah.
So you're also involved in helping people find the best franchise for them. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of purchasing a franchise, and what type of person is the candidate for franchise?
Yes, it's always an interesting one, that, because a franchise is very much a almost like a turnkey operation. I mean, you talk with other people on this show about entrepreneurs, about ideas. They're starting from the base. They've written something on the back of a napkin, or they've built something. This is not the case with a franchise. You're dealing with a currently successful operating business, and what the franchisor wants is they want somebody in this particular market to take that model on and work with them. So the type of person who's going to be comfortable with working with a franchise is somebody who is comfortable working in a defined environment where they know what's going to happen, how it's going to work, how it's going to happen, how it's going to work, what the expected progression is from it. Doesn't mean to say that they can't add their entrepreneurial values to it,
Right.
but they can't suddenly come up with, well, I'd like to do it this way. Because
you need to know you're buying a way.
Yes.
And maybe people also that have not been in business.
yes, that's a very good point, because it's often targeted at people who have come out of corporate America, have either been downsized, laid off, or have retired, and they're very used to a defined structure. And now with a franchise, they can actually continue that sort of environment, but at the same time be personally successful rather than the company.
Yeah, we need to take a quick break, Matthew. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back.